Zidane Danny, Electro Ninja here, and welcome back to Nerd Chat here on Electro Ninja's Lab. I am here with my fellow host,
I'm Jack.
and today we are officially discussing Pokemon Winds and Waves. We are going to mostly be focusing on the actual official announcements. We are not going to go too much over anything that was leaked. However, we will briefly mention it because the leaks were mostly right, which is insane. I think we talked about this during a little bit during as well as after the stream that we did. That overall, the leaks were mostly right. The only thing that they got wrong was that of the starters, which is insane. Which is actually adding like so much validity to those things. We've talked previously about the leaks, and honestly, we also talked about how it would actually be really fun to see the starters that we saw as like some other Pokemon that are going to be in the game in some way, shape, or form. Which, as a reminder as to what those were, it was basically a little elephant, a little water elephant, a fire bat, and a plant cow. Which they were cute, but I like these guys better. What do you think of that?
I like the real ones.
Yeah, they're so cute. So yeah, we've it's very fun. I'm so looking forward to seeing how this game turns out. As you can see, we do have the trailer down in the description, or not in the description. We have that playing as our discussion picture, and it looks really good. Like, oh my gosh, this is probably one of the best. This is the best looking Pokemon game so far. Well, maybe. New Pokemon Snap was also really good looking. What do you think? Or did you see that, Jack?
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah. New Pokemon Snap is pretty good. I don't know. But to be fair, like, this is an open world game. It's gonna be open world, and considering how good it looks at this point, like, dang. And it's not coming out for another year. We don't know exactly when it's coming out, but it's not coming out until at least 2027. Um, uh, so we don't know exactly when that is. Whether that's going to be a winter release, like is it going to be a holiday release, or is it going to be a some other time release? What like we don't know. Personally, I think that it would be really fun to release it on like Pokemon Day, but I don't think they're gonna do that.
One can only hope.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I don't think they're gonna. I don't know. I don't think they're gonna release it too early. I think at the latest. I think we said that at the latest June. June would make sense. Because then it's the summer release, and then people are going to be playing it throughout the summer. Um, so, which there's going to be a lot of people playing this game. Holy crap! And also because it is Winds and Waves, and it is a very tropical game. It will probably look really good for. It will probably be a really good option for it. But I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'm excited. That's the basics. Do you have anything that you specifically want to mention before we actually like look fully into details?
No. I think we should rewatch the trailer together.
Okay. So let me go ahead and I will share that screen with you so you can see what's going on, in the video that we're sharing.
Okay.
And that way it's nice and simple. I will probably change this once we're actually talking about things. Let me back this up to the very beginning of it. All right, so that we can actually see this. So yeah, obviously they started off with the very intro where they covered all of the different generations, pretty much, with Gen 1 with the Pikachu, Gen 2 with Ecruteak City, Gen 3 with the Kecleon and stuff, Gen 4 with the Snowpoint and Mount Coronet, Gen 5 with the Unova basic stuff, Lumio City for Gen 6, Gen 7 for Alola, Gen 9 for the Gigantamaxing, or sorry, 8, that was 8, I'm sorry, 9 for Scarlet and Violet, and then finally Gen 10 as Pikachu is looking out the window, and we get to see the... I'm not too fond of this of these Pikachu, the 3 Pikachu that they show.
Why?
Well, it's specifically in this video. It kind of feels a little bit in the Uncanny Valley.
Oh.
Just because it kind of feels like it's somewhere between Detective Pikachu level and standard level. They're just a little bit too furry in my opinion. I think they look a lot better actually in game. They do have a bit of fur in there that is pretty obvious, but I think that it's better in the game than it is in the little trailer that they showed at the beginning.
Gotcha.
But then, yeah, we get to see some more. We get to see Pokemon. We get to see the aquatic area and how this is definitely based off of like Indonesia and Southeast Asia, which is what people were expecting. Very green. I like the Pokemon Center that we saw there. The town being on the beach. It feels really open and really nice. I want to be very clear about that. It feels like what we've seen so far, it feels really integrated into the world. And I'm loving it. I'm loving like all of the Pokemon that we're seeing. I do wonder like exactly how many Pokemon we're going to see throughout the game. And then obviously we get the starters, which we've already talked a little bit about that Pombon and Gekwa are our favorites. And then Brout is just like kind of dumb, but we love it. But we still like him.
I love Brout. Brout looks like an angry bird.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, here's the deal. I replay Pokemon games like crazy.
Yes. I'm gonna
I
actually back it
have
up
a
to...
subscription to Home, so I move the important ones to Home and then I restart. It's a habit.
Yeah.
Especially the newer ones. Especially pretty much starting with I believe I have Shield. I'll just replay them over and over again.
Yeah.
And
And it's felt a lot better, I would say, since Sword and Shield comparatively.
yes.
Like,
But what I'm saying is I will eventually play with all of these starters.
yeah, that's fair. I'm kind of uncertain exactly since both of us are at this point in time. We both want to get the bundle packs once we get them, so we will.
Of course,
we'll probably play both versions. I am kind of thinking that for my personal playthrough, I don't know. I'm not certain which one. I'll probably choose one starter for my personal playthrough, which I'm not certain. Like I said, I'm not certain which version I'm gonna play. And then for my live stream playthrough, which I'm planning to do, I'll probably choose the other one, at least for my first playthrough. But one of them is gonna be Pombon. One is gonna be Gekwa. For my first 2 playthroughs, one for, like I said, one for my personal playthrough, one for my live stream playthrough. And Brout is probably going to be the last one that I play with. But who knows? We'll see what happens. I'm assuming that we will be able to get all 3 starters at some point. I don't think it's going to be that... they usually make it so that since... I would say since... Well... They've done it for a while, where you've been able to get all of the starters in some way, shape, or form, without necessarily having to ask a friend to send them over. But it's also easier to send them over, so I don't know. Or get them, because like people will just simply breed the starters, and then they'll send them out using like Wonder Trade or other things, because everyone wants to get everyone wants to get a shiny. So, like, trading off like a few of them so that you can get the other ones. I think that a lot of people will do that. But yeah, I do like the starters. We've talked a little bit about them. How we really want, we want at least Pombon to stay on all four, and Gekwa we would like to stay on all four. But if it does like something similar to Swampert, where it's kind of on all fours, but it's also kind of on two legs, that's not going to be like the end of the world.
Yeah.
Brout, we don't really care too much about what it's going to turn into. I think one of the things that we said is that if Brout like turns into something really cool in its final evolution, then we might go for it. But for right now, it's Pombon and Gekwa are currently winning, and it is going to be determined by what the final evolutions look like. But yeah, we love them. They're very cute. I do think yeah. There have been a lot of people who have been talking about like, oh, these are crap, or oh, these are this and that, and it's like, I don't know. I don't think it's bad.
People's biggest complaint, they said they're not original.
Yeah, but that's the Pokemon fandom is insane. Um,
Yeah, they always find something to complain about. It's never ending.
yeah. So, real quick, as we continue with the trailer, I want to briefly talk about the snake in the sky. um, which we've talked a little bit about this personally, but we didn't really talk about it in the live stream when we were going over it, and when we were watching it. Although we did notice, or at least I noticed it. What do you think that is? Do you think it's just a? Do we think it's just a cloud, or do we think that's? Oh, that has to be that has to be something to do with a legendary. Oh, that could have something to do with like the gimmick or something like that.
It has to be something. I don't know what, but it's got to be something. They didn't put
Yeah,
that there for no reason. They're not. They're not just like, oh, gee, let's put a dragon cloud for funsies. Yeah,
yeah,
no, everything they do is for a reason. I just don't know what reason yet.
yeah. I'm hoping that it's for a reason and it's not just like some random cloud. Like the thing is that Pokemon, like considering how many people are talking about it, I do think that there is a possibility that Pokemon will come out with like a public statement at some point if it is just like a random cloud, and they're just like, "Oh yeah, guys, that's just a random cloud." We didn't realize that it was gonna draw so much attention. Um, but yeah, that's just like a regular cloud. If they say that, like that's gonna be kind of annoying, but at the same time, it kind of would make a little bit of sense. I don't know. Um, but yeah, uh, it is kind of weird though because as we zoom in, it kind of looks more and more like an Omega. And we'll talk about that. My reasoning for pointing that out in a sec. And then we go underwater. I love that we're going to be able to. This is our. I think I talked about this a little bit. I don't know if we talked about it in the live stream, but this is the first Pokemon game where we're going to be able to go underwater since Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, I think. Yeah, I think that's right. Because I don't, we didn't go in during the Sun and Moon games, which is kind of funny. We didn't go underwater at all.
Nope.
In, obviously in Sword and Shield, we've never gone underwater. In, Scarlet and Violet, we didn't go underwater. Um, but considering the fact that this is a very water focused region, it does make sense that they would do something like that. It's a similar situation to why there was so much water in Hoenn, and it's part of the reason why we have so much. There is diving in Hoenn, and also I think that's the only region with diving. I could be wrong about that. Um, no, I think there was some diving in some of the other games. I think 4 might have had. I think the Sinnoh games might have had some, but it wasn't as major.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, too much water. I have a feeling that meme is gonna rise up again with this new with this new game. Um,
Yep.
just like what happened in the original. But I do love it. I do think that that's really fun. Oh, we didn't really talk too much about the Pikachu. Um, we could should we talk about them?
Yes.
Okay. So first, let's scroll down to I have the website open. Um, so Special Pikachu make their debut. The latest video featured the appearance of some Pikachu with a brand new look. Just how could these Pikachu be involved in your adventure? Look forward to future announcements. And we have Mr. Windy Chew and Miss Wavy Chew, and they are very cute. I do love them, but it does raise the question of who are these guys? Um, I think one thing that we did that we've talked a little bit about.
Plot twist, they're your rivals.
Huh? Oh, that would be funny. I don't know. I feel like they could either be a gift or they could be your rival. They could be connected to your rival. That is definitely a possibility. But the memes about them are just kind of hilarious. Like, what is they call like they're calling them Boomer Pikachu's? Oh my gosh. But yeah, what do we think of them? They're adorable. In fact, I'm gonna change the screen. Here, there we go. Now you can see that what I'm talking about. So yeah, what do you think? What do you think of the Pikachu? Before I like say some things, some more things about him.
Well, my first thought was they look shiny.
Yes. Okay. I think that was because I said that the other day. Oh, you got muted. But yeah, they do look shiny. I don't know if everyone noticed that because they could just be. Some people might have just said that they look tanned. But if you've hunted shiny Pikachu, then you know that that's what shiny Pikachu looks like. But yes, you were saying.
And that was pointed out by several people. I don't know if it was just you. I know it was pointed out on one of the Pokemon groups on Facebook and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think Miss Wavy Chew looks like a boomer. I don't know that a boomer would wear a two-piece bathing suit quite like that.
Yeah, that's fair. But everyone is just like Mr. Windy Chew for sure is a boomer.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. But yeah, one thing that we were thinking is like, oh, these guys maybe these guys are guaranteed shinies because they have their special things. But yeah, we've had multiple Pikachu wearing like special outfits in multiple games. Let's see. So, it was the Sun and Moon games where they that had the huge list of them. Where Pikachu had like the all the different outfits, like the it was like a very specific female Pikachu that could that had like all of the different outfits, like the doctor, the a few others.
Oh yes.
Obviously, Pikachu Libre was in Pokken and was kind of like the poster child of Pokken. But yeah, this and then obviously they had Let's Go Eevee and Pikachu, where they had like a hat and several different shirts, which those were fun. But I think this is probably closer to. I would say that this is probably closer to the multiple Pikachu outfits in Sun and Moon. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with them. It's kind of fun. But I do think it's kind of interesting. This is the only point where it specifically says, how could these Pikachu be involved in your adventure? Look forward to future announcements. So for sure, whatever is going on with the Windy Chew and Wavy Chew, they're going to deal more with them in as we get more trailers and stuff. They are probably going to get the most. They will probably be in the next announcement, for sure, and possibly all of the announcements. I think that could be really fun. And then all of the other guys, like, we'll see how they go. Speaking of the special site, though, there's really not much information that you get from the special site that you don't get from the trailer. Every image is from the trailer. You can watch the trailer on the special site, but there are some little blurbs that they have that you can read. I think we'll start off at the start. A new stage is set for the Pokemon series. The Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves games, all new entries in the Pokemon video game series, will be released exclusively on the Nintendo Switch in simultaneous worldwide release in 2027. These new titles feature an open world to explore, with beautiful windswept islands and a vast ocean. With glittering waves that ebb and flow, the Pokemon that live in harmony with this region's lush environment have developed their own unique ecosystems. By visiting these islands, you are sure to open the door to a brand new adventure that could only be found here. During this adventure, you'll be able to team up with all kinds of Pokemon to overcome both the difficult road ahead and even the forces of nature that block your path at times. And that is really exciting. Just like the basic information there. Firstly, the fact that they are specifically saying that this is an open world. I think that they did say that for Scarlet and Violet. But this feels like it's being a lot more obvious with that to me. And to me, I'm hoping that that could mean something along the lines of you can go wherever you want. You're not set to be on this very specific path. But I'm not certain. I don't think that there's a way to know for sure exactly how that's going to work. Whether that means that you'll be able to face off against any gym you want in any order, who knows? Because, like, Scarlet and Violet was an open world, but you still kind of had to go in a specific path. Because, like, yeah, each Pokemon or each region had, like, a specific level that they were, and so on and so forth.
True.
And you needed to take it, like, they basically said, after you finish up in the main city, you can go anywhere, but you need to go deal with things in kind of a specific order. So I don't know. That we'll see exactly what they do as they continue. But yeah, like I said, the pictures were pretty much just all pictures taken from the trailer. It is nice to be able to look a little bit closer at certain aspects of the trailer. We also we get to see a bit of the towns, as well as like what is this tower? Speaking of, like, we don't know what this tower is. Is that like a gym? Is that like some other thing? To me, I'm thinking it has to be a gym or something. Because it has multiple levels. Like, what if that's like the gym challenge? Like, you have to get up through the different levels in the gym, and then up at the top you have like maybe not even the top. Maybe it's the level below the top. You you have your actual battle with the gym leader, and then you slide down the slide to get down to the bottom. I don't know. I think it's either that, or it could be very similar to that of the the towers, and it will basically expand the world to see exactly what's going on. Do we have a good picture of the Pokemon Center? Not in this one, it looks like. That's fine. No. Okay. Oh, what is that? We do see a shop with in the picture with the Duskulls. I don't know exactly what that's going to be like. I'm wondering if that is going to be like there are going to be like several different shops for various different things. But there are a lot of buildings, and they have like this open concept to a lot of the buildings. And you can kind of see that really well in like some of these pictures. So it looks like even though they're trying to I'm trying to say this. They're trying to figure out how we can have buildings but still be able to access them without having like loading screens, and massive ones at that. Because like in Scarlet and Violet, most of the buildings are you can't enter them. And it was one of the things that a lot of people complained about, is just like, why can't we go into all these buildings? And the reason was because it would cause so much loading time that it would cause problems. And it's why, like, really the only there's a few buildings that you can enter, like the gyms you can enter. You can enter some of the restaurants, but as a whole, you can't enter most of the buildings. This looks like they're at least trying to figure out how they can do that by making them open concept ones that are just always loaded. Which I'm excited to see how that's going to work out. Do we have a good image of the Pokemon Center besides that one, the scene in the video? I don't think we do. I want to see. That's the first partner Pokemon. Okay, yeah. Let me see here. Where is the Pokemon Center in here? They passed it. Did we already pass it? I'm trying to see. That's the one building. Okay, it must have been before this. Let me go back a bit and see what if we can get that good image. The trainer prepping, walking. Okay, here we go. So, yeah, we have the Pokemon Center and the Poke Shop. We do not get a good image of the Pokemon Center, like, at all. Which does lead me to wonder, like, what exactly they're going to do with that. But it looks bigger. It looks pretty big, all things considered. Like, comparing, especially if you compare it to, like, Scarlet and Violet's ones, where it's basically just like this it looked like a gas station. This one looks like it could actually have some more interesting stuff inside, but I'm not certain if you're actually going to be able to go in there. I'm hoping that we will be able to go in, because it looks open concept. So I would hope that we are able to go in there at some point. But I don't know. We'll see what happens there. I also briefly want to talk about the backpacks, and specifically the board on the side of our that our trainer is holding. If you look at the website, the male trainer is holding the board, while the female trainer just keeps it on her backpack. We never do in the trailer, as well as in other images, we don't actually see them ever holding the board. But we don't really know what that is, truthfully. We do have some like context. We do know a little bit about it, because of the fact that there was a leak, like the day before the direct, where we saw the trainer using a Rotom scooter type dealy bob, and that could be this thing, but beyond that we don't really know what it is. Like if you were to take a guess, besides the scooter / skateboard, whatever it's going to be called, what would you think that is? Oh, you're muted again.
Oh, maybe like a hoverboard.
Yeah. And that's basically what it is in the leak. So yeah, I don't know. We don't know if that's specifically this thing in the leaks or what. But it makes sense. I think that's basically the only thing it could be. Um, but yeah, I think it's got to be something that is specifically used for transportation. Um, we currently don't know how much customization there's going to be in the game. They do kind of signify with in the special site that your trainer is going to look in a specific way depending on which version of the game you have. Here's the exact wording that they have. You, the player, will become the main character in this adventure when you dive into the world of Pokemon Winds and Pokemon Waves. The outfit your character dons will differ between versions. Just what kind of story will be waiting you? And to me, that's concerning because a lot of people have fallen in love with the ability to customize your character starting all the way in X and Y, and that continued. There was like a brief point in Scarlet and Violet where you weren't able to customize your character fully, and people hated that. They hated the fact that you only had like a few specific outfits. So please, whatever you're doing, Pokemon, please at least allow us to make do some customization. The wetsuit, I can understand that being staying the same with every version that you play. I can also understand the backpack, but make sure that we're able to change its color because it's not just the color for those. It is like a specific design where the Waves one is more of like a underwater backpack, while the Winds one is like a hiking backpack. So please, please make sure that that's the case, and also please allow us to get rid of the hat. Like, oh my gosh, I know that not everyone hates the hat, but some people do.
I love the hat.
I don't hate it. I really don't. But I do know that some people do hate it. So make sure that people are allowed to get rid of it. I don't really like hats. That is my point of view. It's ever since they allowed us to take off the hats, I have taken my hat off every time because I don't like hats, like in general. And that granted, that is mostly my perspective. I think that the hats are fine. I'm sure that people like it. You like the Winds hat, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't like the Winds hat. I've seen a lot of people complaining about it, and they're just like, please let us be able to take it off. It's very similar to what happened with the hat for ZA. It does not work for the guy. It's like it's the freaking it's a fedora, and granted, that's partially due to like a lot of bad influence of a fedora. Fedoras are not liked by most people, at least for guys. Girls can actually pull it off a lot better, but yeah, that's like every single part. I don't know if it's every single person, but a lot of people, as soon as they get the hat from Naveen, they're just like, okay, get rid of it. But yeah, hopefully they allow us to do customization. I can understand like leaving the wetsuit, and maybe it might be limited options. Maybe like you can change your shorts, you can change your shirt, and you can change your gloves and shoes and so on and so forth. Maybe hopefully change the hat, because I'd like more hat options, please. But yeah, allow us to change our gloves, allow us to change our pants and shirt at the minimum. Hats and shirt are the minimum, and then everything else, and allow us to like mix and match, please. It doesn't have to be like considering the fact that we are like adventurers in this game, I can kind of understand like a limited optionness, but colors at the very least needs to be available to change, because People like customizing their character.
It's the mixing and matching.
Yes.
Because I feel like if Scarlet and Violet had just done that, like we see in the game,
Yeah.
so many characters have mixed and matched their uniform pieces,
Yeah.
but we can't. If they had just done that, it would have been so much better received.
Yeah. And that is like the biggest problem with Scarlet and Violet is, yeah, it's not customizable. Like sure, you can change your gloves, you can change your shoes, you can change your hat, you can change your backpack. The only thing that you can't change in that is your outfit. Well, you have like multiple outfits, but nobody likes any of the outfits. At least out in the base game. Some of the outfits in the I've seen a lot of people, like, as soon as they're able to switch outfits in the DLC, they did. Because I think a lot more people like the DLC outfits than they did the standard outfits. So, yes, please let us change those. Let us change the outfit. I can understand keeping a wetsuit on, because we're going to be diving underwater a lot. But if we can change its color as well, I would like to be able to change the color of the wetsuit. There are certain aspects, if you look over all of the design differences between the two versions of the characters. Firstly, there's the backpack. We already talked about that and how it's vastly different between versions. The hats are different between versions, where Winds has the kind of cowboyish hat, and Waves has the baseball cap. Obviously, the backpack is swimmer for Waves and hiker for Winds. And then if you look at a few other things, the skateboard, I'm just gonna call it that, even though it's probably a hoverboard. It's white in Winds and it's blue on Waves. The gloves are different between versions, and on the wetsuit, at basically at the neckline as well as on the wrists, it's a different color. Yellow in Winds, blue in Waves, and so there are certain. So I'm assuming that is probably what it's gonna be. Can I actually zoom in on this? I don't know if I can. Save image. Desktop. Actually, let's put that in green screen first. Let me open that, because I'm kind of curious if I can see what this is. So, okay, it's kind of like a windy symbol. Okay. Yeah, it's the same symbol on the little bag in the front. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, there's like a wind symbol and a wave symbol. That's fine. I'm not too concerned with that. So maybe like the gloves, those they have like specific versions that you can only get in the specific version that you have. You can't. Maybe you won't be able to get the hat, the specific hat, in each version. I can understand that. Maybe with the wetsuit, every single color that you can get for the wetsuit, maybe it always has the bands. Maybe you're able to change the color of the backpack, but it's always going to be the specific backpack. I can understand some of that stuff. But everything else needs to be able to be changeable, and the hats and gloves, I think that they should allow us to get various different versions of them, but maybe like they have the specific symbol. In maybe on Waves they always have that specific symbol on the glove. In Winds they always have that specific symbol on the glove. But other than that, you can change them out. You can change their color, all that jazz. But I don't know. Customization, it's key. It is very key. Please make sure that we have customization in the game. That is what
Agreed.
I ask. We spent a lot of time talking about the customization of the character. I do think that uh, we're so concerned because we saw how what happened in Scarlet and Violet. Don't go. You just had ZA where it had like one of the best customizations in the series. Please keep that as a thing. We loved the ZA ability to customize our character. It was so good, and I like. There were so many there were so many people who made guy characters so that they could have like Tawny, and then they changed the entire look of their character so that they were more feminine. Um, and it's a lot easier to make the guy character look feminine than it is to make the girl character look masculine. In ZA, so I know that a lot of people. So that there was a lot with that. I'm not going to get into all of that stuff, but yes, there were a lot of people who did that. And you're able to change all of you're able to get every single outfit option. So please allow us to do the same thing with Winds and Waves. But anyways, so that's that. There's not much else to talk about when it comes to to the trainer. I think we can go over like all of the different Pokemon that we saw in the trailers later. Let's see. First partner Pokemon, 3 Pokemon you encounter and you can partner up with are Brout, the Bean Chick Pokemon, Ponbon, the puppy Pokemon, and Gekwa, the water gecko Pokemon. Choose one to be your partner and set out on a new adventure together. Pretty simple stuff. We love the starters. They're very cute. I don't think there's a single person who didn't at least find one of them really adorable and really want to have them. I think the best part about Brout is the fact that his category is the Bean Chick Pokemon. Oh my gosh, that is funny. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about the about some of their descriptions. So let's start off with Brout. This Pokemon runs about energetically while photosynthesizing, using the leaves on its brow. It lives. It's lively, but it can also be a bit clumsy. That's exciting. That's very cute. I'm curious exactly what that if that could mean anything for the future of it. Please don't keep it an Angry Bird. Yeah. That is my one thing that I'm concerned about. Considering the fact that it's called Brout, I'm worried that it is going to continue to look like an Angry Bird. We talked a little bit about it. Jack found a really nice image of like what some of the Pokemon could look like in their throughout their evolutions. Where Ponbon is gets to be a bigger dog, and is still cute in its middle evolution, and then turns into a lion in its final evolution. It's cute, but I don't think we do not want it to turn into a lion. We want it to stay a dog. And then Brout turning into a bird, as well as Gekwa just turning more gecko-y. It looks cool. I like some of that. We've seen a lot of different things that these guys could turn into. I don't know if there's going to be a good fan art. Which fan art is going to be the closest to it, we don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it's going to be fun, though. But yes. But yeah, Ponbon. The area below its throat glows faintly from the heat-generating organ within its lungs. This Pokemon is guileless and friendly. It's so cute. I'm ready for it. I do wonder if, like, one thing that we did talk about with Ponbon is maybe the possibility of it turning into an Emberwolf. If you guys have played Hytale recently, then you may have seen this guy. But there is a monster in Hytale called an Emberwolf, and the concept of it, I think, is really good as like a possibility of what Ponbon could turn into. It's very cool looking. It's jaggedy. It's got fire coming off of it. It looks very fun. I do not think that they're going to go fully in that direction, but I think that it could be definitely a possibility. And I think whatever they do, I'm hoping that it's going to be really good. Gekwa. This Pokemon launches springy balls of water from its tail. Gekwa is very intelligent and maneuvers shrewdly while putting on airs. So, yeah. We love them. Any specifics that you want to talk about when it comes to the starters?
Not really.
No? Okay.
I like them a lot.
Yeah. And I think it's going to be a lot of fun to see more of what they're going to do with them. Anyways, let's see here. So that's that. I don't think there was really too much else that was in the special site. One thing that we should probably discuss is that of the Japanese logos. Where's the Japanese logos? I'm gonna turn this off for now. Japanese logos. Japanese logos. Holy crap! We send so much stuff between each other.
True.
I know I had it. Where is it? It was. Okay, I'm too far. Japanese logos. Okay, so that's that. I know I sent it. Where is the frickin' image? There it is. Okay. So, Japanese logos. One of the reasons why I specifically want to bring up the Japanese logo is the fact that usually when they are discussing the Japanese, when they post the Japanese logo, since X and Y, they have used the Japanese logos to hint at the at the specific gimmick in the game. However, in this specific case, it's a bit weird. Usually, it is part of the just for making sure that everyone's aware exactly what it is. It's in the Po part of the of Pocket Monsters. It is usually a Pokeball. It has been a Pokeball for a lot of the games, which is what this kind of looks like. The Japanese logo kind of looks like. I might be able to find a good image of this once. I think I saved this actually. Let's see if I can find it so we can put this on the image. Did I save this properly? I did. So it does look like a Pokeball. The usual spot that they put the gimmick is in the N. So the N part of Pokemon, or Pocket Monsters. I thought I had it somewhere in here. And then yeah, usually the Po has a Pokeball on it. And they've done this in pretty much, like I said, every single game since X and Y. They have done this. I do not know where I put this stupid image. It's whatever. We'll just leave it for now. We'll ignore it for now. However, this time it is the circle for the Po is very odd looking because it kind of looks like an Omega symbol. It still has like the line and the dot in the middle of it, so it does still look like a Pokeball, but it kind of raises questions. Now I do think that there is the possibility that because that it is nothing to do with anything, but the Omega symbol seems to be rising up throughout this in a few different situations. As we said near the end of the trailer, we do see the snake in the sky, and as we get closer to it, it does look like a Omega symbol to a certain degree. As you can see here, it does kind of look like an Omega symbol. Obviously upside down, but so that just that's why it's specifically raising questions in my mind. Is this something connected to the gimmick, or is this just a Pokeball? And we've talked a little bit about it. What do you think, Jack?
I think it's just a Pokeball.
Yeah, it could absolutely just be a Pokeball. I don't know. It's hard to say. The reason why I specifically bring up that it might not be a Pokeball and it might be the gimmick is that some of the games did not have Pokeballs there. It's not every single one, but it is a few of them. And yeah, I think I don't know. Like I said, in the gimmick, usually they put it in the N, which is this symbol here since Jack is able to see it. They always put it here as part of the line, as part of the N. And obviously that is just the line for for this version. So who knows? I'm probably focusing way too much on this because there is definitely a good possibility that they have realized, oh, yeah, we might have gone too far with that. Too many people look at the Japanese logo and like start theorizing. Okay, what is this about? What could this possibly be? And they realized, oh, we should probably be a bit more careful with this. And yeah, it's whatever. I'm hoping that that it's fine. That we're not gonna have to worry too much about it. But it's just like one of those things that's just like they've done it so many times so far that just raises the question. Personally, what I would like to see is instead a situation where we just get maybe we won't even get a gimmick this time, but instead they figure out a way to bring all of the previous gimmicks back into the game. But yeah. So give us continue having Mega Evolution, bring in Z Crystals, bring in Gigantamax, bring in Terastallization. I feel like I'm forgetting one, but I'm not. Because yeah, it started in Gen 6. So yeah, and it went to Gen 10 or Gen 9. So yeah, who knows? Maybe we won't even have a gimmick. Maybe it's just going to be focusing on the fact that it's an open world. Another thing is that we haven't yet to see anything about the legendaries. And yeah, it does raise some questions because if we look at like other like Scarlet and Violet are just kind of those weird ones because they have their Pokemon are like front and center when it comes to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And their legendaries have always been front and center, primarily because of the fact that you are with that Pokemon the entire time. You're with the legendary the entire time. And the same could also be said for Sun and Moon to a certain degree. We kind of were at with Sword and Shield, but it's more of like we meet them and then they disappear for the rest of the game until the very end.
Yeah.
So that one's special. So yeah, so Scarlet and Violet was really special, and you were with the legendary Pokemon the entire time. In X and Y, obviously they didn't. X and Y and everything beforehand, the the legendary was always like one. You don't see them until much later, until the very end of the game. I don't think there's a single one where you see the legendary before, like, at least the halfway point. Like, you might know about them, you might have heard about them. Like the Weather Trio, I think you've heard about them at some point early on, but you've never seen them. You don't see them until the end. You know about them because of the fact that the evil team wants them. You know a little bit about the dragons in Gen 5, but you don't see them until much later. Team Galactic wants the legendaries again. Most of it's because of the fact that the evil team wants the legendary. And we find out, and we like hear the name early on, or I should say, we read the name early on, but we never actually catch it. We don't see it. We don't touch it until later on, until Sun and Moon. And then ever since then, they've at least had some vision of it. So yeah. I think we're a little bit spoiled because of Scarlet and Violet, because we saw Koraidon and Miraidon in the first trailer for Scarlet and Violet. So a lot of people are like, okay, are we going to see the legendaries in the first trailer for Gen 10? Nope, we did not. And it does make me wonder if maybe we're just not even going to see them until, like, long into the game. But I don't know. I do hope that there are going to be some really fun situations as we continue on with this. But let's discuss a little bit about the fact that this is going to be the first main series game, at least in a while, that has not come out within a year of another game. Because ZA, so like comparing it to like Scarlet and Violet had its game and then it had the DLC. It was a little bit of time. It was a little bit extra time when it came to ZA, but yeah, it was still like not that long. We had a whole bunch of stuff for Scarlet and Violet in the meantime between Scarlet and Violet and ZA. At this point in time, for the main series game, as far as we know, there's going to be nothing between now, when we are getting, like, obviously, in ZA, we just got the Last of the Starter Mega Evolution Crystals, as well as we just got the last Mega Crystal with the Garchomp Z. And as far as we know, there is nothing for ZA between now and whatever and all the way until 2027 with Winds and Waves. And part of me doesn't really have a problem with that, because this is the 30th anniversary is when we're this is a big year for them. We already know that they are planning to do a lot of things throughout this year, with like merch stuff on Pokemon Center. Multiple games are getting ported to the Switch, with Fire Red and Leaf Green coming out yesterday for us, 2 days ago for the rest of you guys. There was the music box type dealy bob in that also came out yesterday. That looks like a Game Boy. Jack is muted again. But yeah. So there's that. So yeah, the game music, Pokemon game music collection, which is gonna which has like Fire Red and Leaf Green, or not Fire Red and Leaf Green, Fire Red and Blue, or regular Red and Blue, cartridges that you can put into your game, that you can put into a fake Game Boy, and then it looks like you're then you get to listen to all of the old classic music. They're doing a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to merch. It's fine. I'm not too concerned with that. In terms of like gaming, though, we're getting Champions in April, which is mostly focused on competitive. And while sure, it's going to be nice to be able to battle each other, um, on both your Switch as well as your phone. That is nice. I'm glad that we're going to be able to do that. But that's that. In terms of other games, we are getting freaking where are we get? We're getting XD in April. No, that's in March. So we're getting that in March. We're getting Pokopia this week, which is exciting. We're extremely excited for Pokopia. We might talk about it tomorrow next nerd chat. I don't know. There's a lot of things that we could talk about for the next nerd chat. Is the thing. I don't think like we don't really know too much about anything that has to do with like the phone games. So yeah. When it comes to like Go, Masters, Cafe Remix, Unite, and Sleep, as well as Pokemon and TCG Pocket, those do not affect anything when it comes to like main series stuff. So that's whatever. Because people those are live action those are live playing games, so there's not really much to worry about with those. But yeah, as far as we are aware, there's nothing going on with ZA. There's nothing going on with Scarlet and Violet for the next who knows how long. Pokopia, sure, that's gonna be big. Getting to go back and play some older games with I believe that also Coliseum is supposed to release sometime this year. We don't know when. We just know that it's supposed to. So, Coliseum in XD. And then, yeah. And then there's also the possibility of other major games getting ported to the Switch in some way, shape, or form. Which we don't know exactly how that's going to play out. What do you think of all that?
I think that's a lot to take in.
Yeah. But yeah, my basic point is like, there's not really much going on for Pokemon this year, despite the fact that it's the 30th anniversary. We're not getting a new game this year. It's just ports, which granted that is nice, that is awesome. But that's the main thing. Like, is there anything for like Pokopia is not a main series game. As much as we're gonna love it, not everyone's gonna be playing that. It's very in fact, I think probably Pokopia is gonna be one of the least selling Pokemon game. Well, maybe not the least selling Pokemon games, but it's not gonna be selling as well as like say Winds and Waves when it comes out. And while Champions, I believe, is gonna be free, it's just a thing to basically allow you to play competitive with people, or well, competitive, but it's yeah. It's a live service game, and I don't know. I feel weird about that. How do you feel about Champions? Actually.
I'm not a big fan, frankly.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing. It's like, yes, Champions is going to be an interesting situation. It's going to be helpful for a lot of people who want to get into the competitive side of Pokemon. But beyond that, I don't think that I don't know. It's hard to say. Supposedly you're going to be able to connect your Pokemon home, and then you'll be able to use any Pokemon that you have, in the when you do battles and stuff like that. And you're able to like do standard combat and stuff. but I don't know. It feels weird to me, and I think once it comes out, maybe we should play it and like do some battles with each other. But yeah. Oh, they've basically they've fully confirmed that all of the mechanics are coming back. Actually, so they didn't. It was kind of uncertain if it was going to be every single mechanic, but yeah, it's all of them.
What do you mean all of the mechanics?
So we knew that terrestrialization and mega evolutions were going to be in Champions. Um, but there is an image in on their website on the website for Champions where it's called the Omni Ring, a battle essential, and it has images of terrestrialization, mega evolution, the Z crystal. You can just barely see the logo for Dynamaxing. Um, so yeah. We will be able to use like every single like all of the different gimmicks from the past 4 games. Although one thing that does kind of raise my attention is that there are spots for 5 different mechanics for champions in the image, even though we can't see it. We can only see like the one side of it. So you can see the terrestrialization, mega evolution, Z moves, and just a tiny sliver of Gigantamax. But that does raise the question, is that going to be room for whatever the next mechanic is? Who knows? They probably don't want to they don't want to tell us what the next mechanic is. But yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun though. Whatever they decide to do, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun to play with things. But yeah, they're gonna have like ranked battles, casual battles, private battles, and it does look like it can be a fun game. I think that most likely, I believe it's gonna be free. It is gonna. I do believe it's gonna be a free game. Hopefully, it's fully gonna be free. And it's just going to be a thing where, hey, you'll be able to play with your friends, and that's it. And that way they can... my only hope when it comes to Champions is that because the fact that it is going to be the main way that people are going to be playing in Worlds from this point forward, is that it allows the main series game to really play with things. And it's why ZA was able to be in this fully new method of combat, which we loved. We loved the way that worked. And it does raise the question of, will Winds and Waves have a new new way of playing with your Pokemon? Because in the trailer, we don't see combat at all between Pokemon. So
That's true. We didn't.
it could be the new mechanic that we are like they'll just continue playing with ZA's new ways of doing things, which I think would be amazing. Or they could go back to the old method where like what they did in Scarlet and Violet. Either way, I'm fine with either method. I am fine with either method, but this allows them to do a little bit more stuff. So yeah,
I feel like it would be really hard to go back to the old way after ZA.
Yeah, ZA is so good with that. It really is, and like I said, Champions allows you to still do the turn-based combat and continue to do that, while it allows them to not have to worry so much about balancing and all that jazz for the main series games. They can make Pokemon like ridiculously overpowered in certain situations, and never have to worry about it when you're playing in and that way competitive is just going through champion mode. And maybe they'll do something cool with champions where you're able to do some other cool stuff. One thing that I would like to see the possibility of them doing is maybe having us, maybe taking whatever if as they improve on the ZA method, moving forward, which I hope they do. Maybe they will allow a version of that in Champions. Maybe you'll be able to select when you're choosing your game mode if you want to play in the new method or if you want to play in the old method. But for right now, because of the fact that that the competitive scene is using the old method, you'll only be able to play it with the old method in Champions. So, I don't know. That's my theory. I do believe that Champions is primarily just going to be for competitive stuff, and as much as that's fine, I'm glad that that people who like competitive are going to be able to do competitive stuff. But as a whole, I don't care. I do not care about Champions. So we'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens. And I do think that it is nice though that with the next, so it's gonna start off on the Switch. That's fine. Eventually, it is gonna be going to phone game. It is gonna be a phone game, so you can actually play on your phone. And I hope that's going to be a very good option to kind of help people get into Pokemon in general. So, who knows? We'll see what happens. But, yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so there's like recruitment things, but yeah. Okay, I'm not too concerned with a lot of this thing. It does look like there is going to be some microtransactions in this game, which is concerning. That's the other thing as to why I don't want to play Champions. Because it is going to be a free game that that is raising the high likelihood that it's going to have microtransactions. But yeah. Yeah. I mean, all of the pretty much all of the phone games have microtransactions. It's so bad. It's one of the reasons why I don't play any of them. Like Unite has microtransactions. Freaking what else is all of them. All of them have microtransactions. Sleep has some. Go has some. Like I said, Unite has some. Pocket has some. So please, no more microtransactions. That'd be great. That'd be great to not have to deal with microtransactions in like any games. I think even Friends, Pokemon Friends has microtransactions, which is
really.
It might not because it is more aimed at kids than like other games, so it might not have microtransactions. But let's see here. It's a puzzle game, so it's yeah, I don't know. But yeah, keep us with like I think of all of them, I think that Sleep has the least amount of microtransactions, I think, because it's a game you play while you're sleeping. So putting in microtransactions in that is kind of dumb. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I do. Do you think, though, while we are waiting for, for Winds and Waves, what do you think we're going to be getting in the meantime, when it comes to like other games? Like, do you think we're going to be getting stuff in Scarlet and Violet or ZA in the meantime?
Well, probably something in ZA. Probably continued seasons in ZA for starters.
Yeah, that is definitely a possibility. When does that end, actually? It's soon, isn't it? When is... Where is it? No, not the Scarlet and Violet thing. Because Scarlet and Violet is continuing to get, like, Terra Raid battles in it, which is whatever. Let's see here. So this season ends on March 11th, which means that I believe March 12th should be the start of the next season. Which isn't too long. It's pretty quick. Right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's that. So the 12th should be the day that the new season starts. I don't know. I don't know if they're gonna what they will do with as they continue with seasons, because like what can you do with that? Because it's at this point in time it's between between rank Z and rank S is when you get the different mega stones. Yeah, so or sorry, rank Y, so yeah. Rank Y you get Greninjaite, and then it goes all the way until S to get or some, I don't remember exactly where it is, but yeah, you get Greninjaite, Delphoxite, Chestnutite, Baxcaliburite, Sceptilite, Swamperdite, and eventually you get at rank S, you get Blazikenite. So that kind of raises the question of will will they add stuff between like higher up, like from S to A? Because currently there's not really much below like above S. So, and it's not necessarily challenging to get up to rank A, especially since you can't go down in ranks anymore. But yeah, those are my first few thoughts when it comes to that. I don't know. I feel like they could continue to do seasons, but at the same time, I feel like they kind of have to expand that, because doing a new season every 2 weeks is kind of insane. Or I guess it's 3 weeks. Maybe, I don't know. I don't remember. When did this start? This started on February 18th. Okay, so it's 4 weeks now. Used to be 2 weeks was the thing. So it's now up to it's now up to a month that they're give or take. It's 4 weeks of a season, approximately. Or no, wait, that's 3 weeks. I'm dumb. It's 3 weeks currently, so they could go all the way up to 4 weeks, right? Yeah. So who knows? That's my thoughts. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like if they are gonna do anything with the CA, they probably will want to do some DLC, but at the same time, their main focus is gonna be Winds and Waves for the next year, however long it's gonna be. At the earliest, I could see January for next January for Winds and Waves, but I also don't think that they're going to release it in January. But yeah, I don't know. Do we think that there's gonna be more games, more ports of games over the next year? Besides,
that would be nice.
Yeah, like obviously we just got Fire Red and Leaf Green. There were a lot of people who were hoping for Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, because we still don't have those on any console since since the original since the Game Boy Advanced. I believe. Yeah, like obviously we had Alpha Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, or sorry, Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire. But yeah. So yeah, port like a whole feel free, please port like all of the games, all of the main series games onto the Switch. That would be amazing. Granted,
we'd pay for them too.
We would, like, especially considering the fact that like Fire Red and Leaf Green is $20, and like people, a lot of people are like complaining about that, about how much it is, but a lot of people are still like, yeah, just pay for it. It's like not that much. Um, so yeah, people are paying for it. People are buying Fire Red and Leaf Green. There are some people who are paying the hundreds of dollars that it is to buy every single version of them, all the different language versions. Are they
Wow.
insane? Yes, yes, they are. But at the same time, there are people who are willing to do that. I don't think it's not that expensive. Because there's only like I think 3 versions. I don't know off the top of my head how many versions there are, but each version is a different. You have to pay. You have to pay for it. So, I think it's like the Japanese, the English, and the Spanish versions, is what it is. I don't know. I don't remember. But yeah, that's my. But yeah. Yeah. So yeah, Fire Red, Leaf Green. Give us Ruby, Emerald, and Sapphire. Granted, I believe Emerald is the last game that was on the Game Boy Advanced.
Yes.
So, one thing that they might need to do is they might need to start by porting the older games. Start by porting like, start by porting the classic games. Port the all the Game Boy games. Port all the Game Boy Color games. Port the Game Boy Advanced games, and then
Just port all the previous Pokemon games that weren't on Switch.
yeah,
The end.
that would be nice. My worry is that of the DS games. DS and 3DS is kind of an iffy situation. Because at this point in time, I do not believe there is a single DS game that has been ported to the Switch, DS or 3DS. And part of that is due to the complicated issue of how they work. I think that Pokemon would make the most sense as the first option, because it would basically just be like, you could still do the Pokemon games never really required you to use the second screen fully. You were able to do everything using the key controls. So it's so if they were to do that and port Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Black and White, and eventually the 3DS games, because I think the 3DS games are probably going to be like the last on their priority list to get them up there.
For sure.
But yeah, but I think first things first, get the Game Boy Advance games up. Get Fire Red, get Leaf Green, like obviously we just got those, but get Ruby, Sapphire, Emerald, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, Red, Blue, and Yellow, or Red, Green, and Blue. I don't freaking know. There was like some Japanese stuff. I don't.
It's red, yellow, green, blue.
Yeah, it's so weird because like the Japanese versions of Red and Green, there was Red and Green, and then there was Blue in Japan, and then America got the, yeah,
Red,
America
yellow,
got
blue.
got red and blue, and then yellow. But the thing with Red and Blue is that it's basically an improved version of the original Blue.
That's
So,
true.
yeah, and like all of the so everything up to Crystal is on it was on the 3DS Virtual Console. But the problem with that is you can't do that. You can't play any of them on current console. Like you can't get them anymore. The 3DS Virtual Console was shut down. So if you want to play any of these games, your only option is like either get the original Game Boy versions or get or buy a 3DS that downloaded them before they got deleted. So
Yeah.
Please, please put them on the Switch. And those would not be challenging. They really would not be challenging. And especially, like, personally, I think that the 3DS games, like, everything that was on the 3DS needs to get ported because, like, at this point in time, you can't play anything on the 3D. If you want to transfer Pokemon from the 3DS to the to the Switch, good freaking luck because Pokemon Bank you cannot get anymore. So
Nope.
yeah, just please, like, there's basic. So it's kind of so there was a gap between like the Kanto games to the Johto games. You couldn't transfer between there. You couldn't then you or I think no wait it was between Johto and the sorry, it was between Johto and Hoenn that you couldn't transfer things. But then from Hoenn, you can transfer if you have the software, which is not too challenging to get. You would still need to purchase it, because there was the box link, and you could transfer everything from Ruby to Emerald. You could transfer all of that into there, and then you could transfer for everything into the DS games. But then you kind of can't go any further. You can't go into like because I don't remember exactly what it is, because there's another game that you can get for the DS games, or you can transfer them in with other methods. It's complicated. I don't want to get into all of that, but you can transfer things from the Game Boy games into the DS games, and then the 3DS is just like this barren wasteland because you can't get Pokemon Bank anymore. So, yeah. If you didn't get Pokemon Bank before it was killed, you can't get it. And it's just sad. It's really sad.
Yep.
But yeah. But yeah, so hopefully they'll add some things. Oh, we should real quick, we should talk about the returning Pokemon that we saw in the Winds and Waves trailer. At least a little bit. So here I'm gonna list all of the games that we can get. So we can get Pikachu, we can get Oddish, Gloom, Krabby, Tangela, Lediba and Ledian, Slugma, Corsola, Talo, Wingull, Wailmer, Wailord, Duskull, Tropius, Carnivine, Luminion, Temple, Frillish, Tynamo, Marini, Toxapex, Sandygast, Sizzlipede, and Nimble. And by extension, all of their evolutions. Except for Corsola. They showed... That's weird that freaking Bulbapedia is saying that it's that you can get Corsola, but we didn't see Galarian Corsola in this. Yeah. So don't expect Corsola, but we can probably we can at least get Corsola, so that's fun. Which I don't think was any Pokemon not accessible. All of these Pokemon were at least somewhat accessible on the Switch, so that's good. Because Lediba and Ledian were available in BDSP, but I don't think you could transfer as well as Talo. Apparently, there were a few Pokemon that were available in BDSP, but yeah. Ooh, interesting. Apparently, the Bulbapedia has like a whole bunch list of all of the different ones. Oh, what's this? Interesting. Okay. Apparently, the Korean one also has the logo. But that's whatever. Okay. But that's fine. Okay. Cool. But yeah, so we have a lot of things that we'll have to talk about like as the game continues. And I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they're gonna do. Um, uh, hopefully we'll be getting. I'm hoping that we won't have to wait too long for the next piece of information. Because they're usually pretty good about giving us information about these about the new games as they get announced. Even if it's like really small pieces of information, they'll sometimes just be like, "Yeah, here's a random trailer out of the blue for whatever game whatever game we're talking about." So hopefully we get some cool information. Here's one last question before we conclude today's stream or today's video. Holy crap, we went long. When do you think we will see the middle evolutions and the final evolutions for the starter Pokemon?
Oh gosh, hopefully not to the very end.
Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's so weird with them because it's like, personally, I think that it's really helpful to see them early on, but we don't. Some of these games, we did not see any information about like the alternate evolutions for any Pokemon in like ZA or Arceus. We didn't see the final I don't think we. I think we got the middle evolutions for the for Scarlet and Violet before they actually released, but I don't think we saw the final evolutions until release.
I don't think so.
So I'm hoping that they will give them to us a little bit sooner than that, because yeah, I think when it comes to the starters, it's like you're gonna have for the majority of your playthrough, you're gonna be playing with the final evolution. It's only like in the 30s or no, it's not even in the 30s. It's like 20s and 30, somewhere between 20 and 30, I think. Like 20s and 30s is when we get the final evolution of your
Usually it's
starter.
32.
Huh? Usually it's 32.
Usually it's 32.
Yeah. So
16 and 32.
yeah, usually. So you're gonna be playing a lot, and those early levels are pretty easy to get. You're gonna be getting up there pretty fast. Like sometimes before like even the third gym, before the halfway point for sure, you will have your final evolutions for whatever Pokemon that you're gonna have, because it slows down the higher up you go.
True.
So you're going to be playing the majority of the game with the final evolutions. Why do they not reveal them until like the end, until the game releases? That's my question. Like they did reveal them in, I think I think the last time that they revealed them before the game released was the Alola games, I think it was Sun and Moon. So, and that was like a big determining factor for people, is like, do we go for which Pokemon do you go for? Oh, I really I like all of these. I like this one. I don't like that one. Blah 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 blah. So hopefully we like granted it is a big determining factor. A lot of people don't choose they choose their starter based off the final evolution, not based off of the pre-evolution. Because a lot of people like all three, or they like one. They do like some more than others, but yeah, I don't know. That's my thought process. I would like to be able to I just like to know. I'd like to know what my new Pokemon are gonna look like before I have to before I get them. Like sometimes it's fun to not know what the Pokemon's gonna look like until the actual game comes out, until I actually evolve them. But I don't know. Those are my thoughts. Those are our thoughts. This is a really long nerd chat. It's over an hour and a half. We had a lot to say. We're like 3 times as long as the actual trailers, or the actual Pokemon Day thing. So yeah. Anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed today's nerd chat. I have been Electro Ninja. He's been Jack. And let us know your thoughts on the Pokemon Winds and Waves down in the description below. At this point in time, because of the fact that the leaks were real, or mostly, if you want to talk about them in the comments, feel free. We're probably not going to focus too much on them whenever we're talking about this, but yeah. Wow, we focused so much on this game though. We didn't get to talk about like anything really when it came to the other games.
Nope.
Well, anyways, guys, hopefully you've enjoyed today's nerd chat. Like I said, I've been Electro Ninja. He's been Jack, and we will see you guys next time. But on.